You're listening to the WordPress and Tech podcast with Natalie Crow Designs and the NCD Academy, the podcast designed for non-techies in business wanting to build, improve, and maintain profitable WordPress websites without the tech overwhelm. I'm your host, Natalie Crow, creator of the NCD Academy WordPress 101 course and the NCD Tech Sessions membership. I'll be sharing with you tips, tricks, resources, and my take on WordPress from my 14 plus years industry experience as a WordPress expert. I'm a strong believer that tech is just a tool that we as business owners have access to share our message and help more people. So my goal here is to help you demystify the tech and help you make the most of your WordPress website. Let's dive in. Hey there, lovelies. In today's episode, I want to chat with you in regards to the concept of going through and making sure that you've got your WordPress website working for you, but also want to talk to you a little bit in regards to an event that I've got going on at the moment for my WordPress Help Hub members. So I've got my free group on Facebook, where I basically go through and support non-techies with their websites, similar sort of content to what we do here with the actual podcast, but also going through and actually it's a more interactive element. Obviously, you guys can come through and actually listen to me here, but what's being able to actually chat with me regarding your actual sites, what's some of the opportunities to do that. So it's over the next 2 weeks between the 13th of February and the 27th of February. I've got a series of free trainings that we're doing within the group as Facebook Lives. I've got a little workbook and little opportunities for members to go through and be able to submit their task and go in the running for some time with me, and different things in regards to the NCD Tech Sessions membership. So if you're not already a member of the WordPress Help Hub, you're more than welcome to come on over to that. You can just type in WordPress Help Hub on Facebook and it'll come on up. But yeah, we're talking a little bit in regards to the concept of why is WordPress so beneficial to use, and then going on to actually continuing the concept of actually making sure that our website's working for us. So in terms of looking at why WordPress is so beneficial for us to actually work with, there's so many different reasons why we can actually look at it and why I have this massive love for WordPress. The concept that it is actually easy to use once you actually familiarize yourself with it, the speed and efficiency of the actual site, the concept that it's actually super search engine friendly, it's device responsive, so it works really well on all different devices, it's open source and free to use. And there's so many different things we can incorporate into it. So in terms of free and paid plugins, it's scalable. So we've got means of actually going through, even if we start off with something basic, we can always go and build up onto that depending on what we actually need for our business. It's great in terms of the fact that you don't have to have any coding experience to actually use it. A lot of the stuff's done, or modifications done using interfaces. We've got things like the visual builders available to help us make really beautiful designs. And the concept that you've got the actual block editor or the Gutenberg editor that comes in built with the actual WordPress itself allows you to go through and actually create content with ease and being able to actually work with that. Add in things like go through and actually embed a video or add different forms or things like that. You've got that functionality there available within WordPress itself to be able to go through and basically create anything you can think of. But in terms of going through and actually working on this to actually help us, make the most of our site, what can we look at to actually go through and make WordPress work for us? Generally speaking, I look at 5 areas that we can focus on. So there are lots of things that we can look at as means of actually making it work for us. But it can often be a case of taking a look at our sites and seeing if we're actually doing these things. If we aren't actually doing them, looking at bridging the gaps. So we talked about this in the actual For the Love of WordPress event today in one of the trainings. But number one here I've got is actually going through and positioning yourself as an expert. So you want to make sure that your site does that, positions you as an expert. There could be hundreds of other business owners in your industry offering the same sort of services, but why should people come in and actually work with you? You want to go through and actually show off your skills and expertise. Demonstrate that you are actually able to do what you offer. Position things like your products and services or how you can actually help your audience, and even going through and creating content, more offering resources from your actual site, that actually go through and help your audience with your expertise. So it might be actually writing blog posts in regards to the different things that people are asking, or going through, for example, in my case, offering tutorials and resources that people can actually go in what someone actually watch or read through in terms of how to do things, the things that they didn't have necessarily knowledge about prior to actually reading that article, which then puts them in a position of going, okay, I'm learning from you, or what someone benefiting from the information that you've shared. So yeah, having things on there that do position you as an expert and actually demonstrate your skills is going to be one of the big things that'll help you get your WordPress website working for you. Number 2 here, we've got in terms of creating credibility. So you want your website to go through and actually demonstrate the fact that you are trustworthy, credible, reliable, and all those different things. So things like adding testimonials or screenshots of things that have happened on social media as social proof. At time you can go through with those. They can be anonymous. So even if something happens in your Facebook group or your Facebook page or a comment on social media, you can screenshot those. Let's say you don't have to include the person's name or their photo, but you can still snippet it and show people what's the things that you're getting feedback from your clients and your audience. If you're worried about anything confidential wise, obviously you can approach the person to ask about it, but more often than not, they're generalized. If they can't be identified as an individual from that content, then it can be something that you can utilize in your socials. So adding snippets from that, going through and get video reviews from your clients. I've got a lovely that went through and I did some work with her a little while ago, and she came back off her own back and actually sent me through a video that I could actually use as an option to go through and actually as a review for me. And video reviews are really engaging for audiences to go through and actually watch or thing. It's a little bit different when it's a case of some people just reading some text on a page, someone else actually going, yes, I work with Nat and I think that she's great at what she does. That's going to have a little more power. Also looking at things like PR opportunities, that you've had, or publications that you've been included in. The Making Money with Online, with Lisa Johnson. Is a book, that Lisa's actually produced, and she featured me in as one of her success stories. So a lot of that's been included on my actual websites, in regards to the PR that I've been a part of. Other things that you can actually incorporate on your actual site, things like as seen in or worked with. So you might go through and actually put in logos of places that you've actually been featured in, or even businesses that you've actually worked with that are reputable. You might go through and actually add some of their logos to the bottom of your site. So it might be some of our customers are, or as seen in. Another thing that you can do is if you've been interviewed by anyone, to go through and actually include copies of the interviews. So depending on the actual context of the interview, it may be beneficial for PR, but the factor that you're going through and that you've had reliable sources go through and actually interview to share with their audience about what you're about. It stands out for people if they can go through and go, oh, you've had an interview. Like, for example, Lisa Johnson, did a podcast episode with me, so I could talk about that. Or other places that have actually been included. I did some work with Denise Duffield Thomas. These type of things are things that I'd like to actually go through and share with people that would go, okay, Nat's had an interview here and she's sharing things that are related to connectability, people wanting to actually go through and be able to relate to you, and that'll bring us into our next point. Going through and actually put your connection pieces. So this one's often overlooked, but going through and actually making sure that you've got content, videos, blog posts, stories, opportunities for your audience to connect with you. So for me, I use this podcast. It's an opportunity for you guys to hear how I talk down, have the conversation, or engage with me in a way that's natural, that if you were to go and jump on a call with me now, I'm exactly the same as I am in the podcast. It gives you a chance to get to know me a little bit more, familiarize yourself with things like my voice, the way that I speak, even the words that I use, what's a name and It also gives you an opportunity to, connect with the down-to-earth side of things, opposed to just the professional persona or the actual video or face that you see, and those photos. So going through my blog posts and the actual way that I write also is the same as the way that I actually go through and speak. I probably should elaborate a little bit on that. There's a lot of people that go through and actually write content for their website, but they sound like they've come out of a thesis, or it's an encyclopedia article, or an entry for it. You want to go through and actually have that personal touch. So if you actually say certain things or you phrase your words a certain way, including that so that it's in conversational style structure, opposed to, okay, I'm just going to have introduction paragraph, 3 paragraphs, and a closer. That might be something that you do use, but you want to go through and actually make sure that it still reflects you and the way that you actually operate. Some another connection piece, as I said, and I was talking about it before with the interviews, having things where you've actually been interviewed or opportunities that people can go through and actually see how you are in everyday life, and also when you're working in a professional context, is a really good way for people to connect with you. So that's another opportunity there. The next one here I've got, which it seems straightforward, but I'm going through and actually making sure to help make your WordPress website work for you. You want to have some sort of funnel on your site. We're going to talk a little bit more about this in the WordPress Help Hub in regards to our options for funnels for WordPress website owners, but also going through and actually looking at setting up simple lead magnets in Canva so you can use on WordPress. So those are coming up next week. But this process is basically looking at bringing people into your business. More often than not, it usually revolves in regards to going through and actually offering them something free in exchange for their name and email address. So that might be going through and offering a download. It might even just be going through and actually offering them the ability to sign up for your mailing list and letting them know what they're going to get out of it. So they might get tips and tricks each week, in regards to different things that you do, insights into, more from the experience of you. I'm going through, and you might have that set up so that they can actually visit a page, have a look at some information, put in their details, and they go into your mailing list from there. You want to look at then further nurturing them once you've got them on your mailing list and in your actual audience, to basically move them forward in the process of actually turning them into customers. So what sort of things could you actually offer? Do you have a lead magnet or a low-cost product that you can actually offer them or get them starting the buying process? You really want to be focusing on turning visitors that come on into your site into a lead, so where they actually provide you some sort of information, and then into a sale. Realistically, our sites are designed for that, and to get it to a point where it's actually income generating for us. Which brings us into our last point there. We really want to focus on, even if your website is a static website, that it is actually making you some sort of income. So I'm going through and actually making sure that it's actually gearing towards getting those inquiries if you are offering a service-based business, or looking at effective listings for your actual products and services, making sure that you've got enough information on your website in regards to how they can actually go about working with you. Things like objection handling, frequently asked questions can be really good to help go through and actually help people convert from that actual lead or warm lead into an actual sale. But making sure that you've got some sort of buy functionality on the site so you can actually take sales. And that might not be a case of you having a full e-commerce set up, but you may choose to go through and actually implement some sort of passive income products, maybe an ebook or some DIY courses or something like that. An option for you to go through and actually share knowledge and experience that people can actually go in and pay for. So even if it is just a low cost product, as a means to go through and basically get them either to make a sale, it's so much easier to go through and actually generate sales from people who have already bought from you. If they buy one small product, from you, it's a starting point. They've actually built that actual trust in terms of actually working with you. By having that option there, it really strengthens. It's so much easier to go through and actually sell to existing customers than going out and actually having to source lots of new customers, and go through that actual lengthy process of building up the know, like, and trust factor, getting them to a nurtured stage enough that they feel comfortable to work with you. But these are people that are already there, and creating additional products and services for them can be super helpful. So what's one thing that you can actually create, even if it is just an ebook, that you can actually offer on your website, that you can actually have there day in, day out, that people can come on in, they're visiting your website, give them a recommendation, check this particular product, or a call to action rather than a recommendation. In regards to, I've got this offering that you can actually have a look at just as a low cost offering to get you started, and even setting it up as a tripwire to actually lead them into other things could be a potential, but keeping it really simple at this point. What's something that you can create, a resource of some variety that you literally can have an option where they can actually go in and purchase that from your website even if it is just a static website, I mean, you don't have anything major on it. We want to be getting your website actually turning over or generating income from you, or for you rather, from the start, so that one, it covers its own costs, but two, that you're actually seeing a switch in what you're doing. There are so many things that we can do to make WordPress work for us. And these are just 5 things that we can actually look at. Going through making sure that we are actually positioning ourselves, going through and actually adding those credibility pieces, adding things that allow us, our audience, to actually connect with us, going through and actually making sure that you've got a funnel to actually move people from visitor status through to actual customer. And also going through and actually having that element where you're actually generating income, regardless of how small it is, making some sort of money when people actually come on in and actually have a look at your site and go, okay, I want to take some sort of action. I might not be ready to actually jump in and actually do your top level program, but I'm happy to actually invest a little bit of money, and they've put some skin in the game to actually work with you. They're more likely to actually action what they're doing because they've paid for it. But it's also them taking the first step to actually going, okay, yeah, I'm going to actually start doing these things that you're actually sharing with them. But yeah, I hope that helps, guys, and that you found it beneficial. But if you've got any questions at all, feel free to get in touch. And yeah, the options there for you to come on over to my free WordPress Help Hub group on Facebook. I'd love to connect with you more and talk to you more about your website. And go through and actually support you on your WordPress journey. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys next week. Have an amazing day, and bye for now. You've been listening to the WordPress and Tech podcast with Natalie Crow. I'd love for you to go through and subscribe so you don't miss any of my next episodes. Also head over to ncdacademy.com.au/podcast for all of our free resources and tools and tips.